started. No way. Nah. Really? Jenny! Are you okay? Jenny, wake up! 911. 911, I have an emergency. My friend tripped over her foot and she can't wake up. Jenny, I don't think she's breathing. Jenny! Okay, thank you. Are those sirens I hear? The police are here, Jenny! Are you okay? Help is on their way.
I'm okay.
911, my friend was able to wake up. Thank you. We don't need you guys anymore. Hey guys!
Hey!
I'm Adriana.
And I'm Jennifer.
And today's topic is
Forensic psychology!
Woo! How are you guys doing? Us too!
PsychCentral.com states that psychology is basically an intersection of of psychology and the legal system. There are many branches to forensic psychology, and we'll talk about the broad version. This all started out in 1893 with a guy named James McKean Catwell.
Today we will go over the differences between experimental and clinical psychology, 3 ways the law can act in the history of forensic psychology, and we will also go over the testimony. Although there is no accepted definition for forensic psychology due to debates on whether the definition should be broad or narrow, we will give you one anyway.
The definition of forensic psychology. Do you know what forensic psychology is?
No, what is it?
Forensic psychology is all around us, even when we don't notice it.
Although there's no generally accepted definition of the field, forensic psychology is a field of psychology that has to do with the aspects of how humans behave. For example, if she commits a crime, that's considered forensic psychology. And how it relates to the law and legal system, according to the forensics package handed out from our teacher.
The forensic psychology packet.
In other words, it has to do with the justice system, and it takes a good look at how legal info and language is interpreted and how
crimes are committed, and it helps them come to conclusions to get to the bottom of things and make
justice, like caso cerrado. I hope you guys know what that is.
Yeah. If you don't, Google it. Quoting learnu.org. Forensic psychologists will work in legal settings such as to testify in court or working with witnesses to determine accuracy of their memories and use it to make assumptions and find different conclusions that make sense or add up with the crime that was committed to find out what really happened. They also work with a criminal to be to check out their mental state and to see if that plays a role in anything. So they basically get information from witnesses and make a whole bunch of assumptions and conclusions to find out which one fits best.
According to APA.org, there are various psychological assessments that psychologists give to individuals to help them determine the outcomes. It helps to create accuracy in their own assumptions. An example of an assessment in the Insanity 1 and I quote, "In the U.S., a person cannot be held responsible for a crime if he or she did not possess a guilty mind. For example, if I accuse of Jenny of killing my cat, I have to have evidence in order for her to for the judge to find her guilty and have enough evidence to prove her guilty."
Yeah, and that was from APA.org also. Just to
I think I
clarify.
mentioned that.
Just to clarify. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? You get hot, you must come back. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
That was just a little fun to tell you guys, like,
that was the intro to what we're gonna talk about right now.
yeah, sorry. So have you guys ever heard about the show Cops? Have you?
Yes.
For all those that don't know, Cops is a show that, how would you explain this? Like,
I think it's just a show about cops catching criminals.
there we go.
Yeah.
So,
Crime has been a popular topic for TV, like the show Cops. And researchers are interested in understanding the role that TV plays in shaping the perceptions and attitudes of viewers toward crime-related matters. Shows like Cops are influencing the perception and attitudes of viewers.
Cops is also made more realistic by ensuring that the camera crew is never seen. So technically, there's always something that can protect them from not being anonymous. Even though during those segments of the episode when police officers are driving the camera crew to and from incidents. Have you ever asked yourself how these shows may be impacting the way you interpreted or the attitudes towards forensic psychology? And whether this is a good thing or not?
The only one who should call themselves forensic psychologists, are the ones who engage in clinical practice with the legal system. Any psychologist who spends all of his or her time conducting forensic-related research would not technically be considered a forensic psychologist. For reasons such as these, many psychologists have problems with using narrow definitions to define the field of forensic psychology. Others are too broad. And like we said before, there's debate between. That's why there's no specific definition for forensic psychology.
It's just the way you see it as. Based on the reading, Intro to Forensic Psychology, discipline is A. The research endeavor that examines aspects of human behavior directly related to the legal process. And B. The professional practice of psychology within or in consultation with a legal system that embraces both civil and criminal law, based on Bartol and Bartol, 2006, on page 3. Unlike the narrow definition of forensic psychology provided above, which focuses solely on the application of psychology, this definition does not restrict forensic psychology to applied issues. It also focuses on the research that is required to inform applied practices in the field of forensic psychology. Now Jennifer will be moving on to the relationship between psychology and the law. Sorry, I had a brain fart.
Okay, the relationship between psychology and the law. Actually, Adriana will start us off.
Sorry, guys. There is more than one way to perceive things in forensic psychology, because psychology has all these different stories that can be interpreted differently by different ways of thinking, like trying to solve a problem.
Do you know the relationship between psychology and the law?
No, what is it, Jennifer? Would you like to tell me?
Yes, of course, I'd be glad to. 3 ways psychology and the law can relate to each other, according to the forensic packet. Examining the law is 1. Examining the law psychologically. 2. Using psychology while the legal system runs. 3. And to research the law itself.
So now I will be going over the definitions between psychology and law, psychology in the law, and psychology of the law. So to begin, psychology and the law is the use of psychology to examine the operation of the legal system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Psychology in the law is the use of psychology in the legal system as the system operates. And psychology of the law is the use of psychology to examine the law itself. So it's kind of the same thing that she said, but more,
how do we say this?
in depth.
There you go.
So many of you may ask, what are the roles of forensic psychologists? So based on the packet, I'm going to be quoting a sentence that pretty much tells you what it is.
And this is on page 4.
Yeah, chapter 1. So what is, or do you want to read it?
Yeah. What is consistent across the various definitions of forensic psychology that currently exist in that individuals who call themselves forensic psychologists are always interested in issues that arise at the intersection between psychology and the law. Bet you knew I was going to say that.
So now moving on to the forensic psychology as how do you say
Clinician, I think.
Clinician? Sorry, we mispronounced it. So clinical forensic psychologists are psychologists who are broadly concerned with the assessment and treatment of mental health issues as they pertain to the law or legal system. So in other words, issues that clinical forensic psychologists are more likely to be interested are divorce and child custody mediation, the determination of insanity and fitness to stand trial pled guilty, conducting critical incident stress, debriefing with police officers, and designing and conducting treatment programs for offenders. Do you want to add more to that?
Yeah, sure. The difference between forensic and clinical psychology. Okay. Forensic is more straight to the point, whereas clinical helps the client. Does that make sense? Forensic also says what is needed to be said. Clinical uses everything they could to help the client to benefit. The forensic educates clients and the court, and they also control behavior, whereas clinical is to understand behavior.
Okay, so now many of us don't know what a forensic
psychiatry.
That's fine. Sorry, you guys. It's a field of medicine that deals with all aspects of human behavior as it relates to the law or legal system. So it's kind of like a forensic doctor in other ways, to make it more condensed. And also, there are 2 important differences between the 2 fields, that including forensic psychiatrists and medical doctors. The forensic psychiatrists undergo training that is quite different from the training clinical forensic psychologists receive, and this leads to several other distinctions between the fields. So now we're going to be moving on to the forensic psychologists as researchers. We're just going to make this as short as possible So we're basically just going to give you guys the definition of what that is according to the textbook. Experimental forensic psychologists are always concerned with mental health issues as they pertain to the legal system, and they can be found in a variety of criminal justice settings. You want to give the definition?
Yes, please. Experimental forensic psychologists. Psychologists who are broadly concerned with the study of human behavior as it relates to the law or legal system.
So I hope you guys all enjoyed our video.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'd like to let you guys know that no one was hurt in the making of this video.
Well, not that we know of yet. Just a couple bruises, nothing that really big.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You're too bad. You're too good.